everyone. Today we will discuss the governance of Islamic rate. The standard governance framework for Islamic rate consists of 5 key elements, which is independent, confidentiality, competence, consistency, and disclosure, or known as transparency. In this session, we only focus on 3 critical aspects only, which is independent, disclosure, and confidentiality. Can you tell me what you know about the Islamic rates?
Islamic Real Estate Investment Trusts, commonly referred to as Islamic REITs, which are specialized investment vehicles designed to pool capital from various investors. This pool capital is then utilized to acquire and manage real estate assets with a strict adherence to the principle outlined by Islamic law or Sharia. This ensures that all investment activities are compliant with Islamic ethical standards. For Muslim investors, this offers a unique opportunity to engage in the real estate market while staying true to their religious beliefs and principles.
Yes, correct. Governance plays a crucial role in Islamic rate as it ensures ethical management, compliance with Sharia, and the protection of investor interests. A robust governance framework is essential for maintaining transparency, integrity, and trust in this investment.
These principles are fundamental in ensuring that our investments are managed both ethically and effectively. Understanding how these governance elements function is crucial for us as investors. Could you elaborate on the benefits of having independent Sharia advisor, which particularly in the context of maintaining ethical standards and protecting our investment?
Independence of Sharia advisor is crucial to ensure unbiased and unethical governance. In Islamic rate, advisors should not be under the influence of the rates management. For example, Al-Aqar rates appoint external SA from reputable institutions like Bank Islam and IBFIM. This practice ensures that assessment and opinion are free from internal influence, thereby maintaining the integrity of the operation.
How does this independence benefit the investors?
It ensures that investment decisions comply strictly with Sharia principles, providing confidence to investors that their funds are managed ethically and responsibly.
I see. By ensuring that the Sharia advisors operate independently from the management of the REITs, we as investors can be assured that the investment decisions are made based solely on Islamic principles. This independent oversight helps in safeguarding our investment from any potential conflict of interest or unethical practice, thereby fostering a sense of trust and security in the investment process.
Transparency in the role and responsibility of Sharia advisor is essential for a trust. Unfortunately, the current practice shows that there is a lack of detailed information about the advisor job scope and decision-making processes in the annual reports. This is true for Al-Aqar, KLCC rate, and Aziz rate.
Why is transparency so important?
Because transparency allows the investor to understand how decisions are made and ensure that there is no hidden risk. The success of Aziz REIT in winning the Best Practice Award in 2012 for corporate governance highlight the public's appreciation for transparency.
Transparency is indeed vital. When we as investors have access to clear and comprehensive information regarding the roles, responsibilities, and decision-making process of Sharia advisors, we can make more informed decisions. This often not only help us understand how our investments are being managed, but also build confidence in the ethical and transparent governance of the REITs.
Confidentiality of information is another crucial aspect. In Islamic rates, sharing confidential information can jeopardize trust and operation. For instance, the scarcity of Sharia advisor in Malaysia has led to the same advisor serving multiple rates like Aziz and KLCC rates, potentially compromising the confidentiality.
What challenge does this pose?
While it ensures the consistency in Sharia compliance, it also indicates a lack of expertise, which can hinder the growth and the trust in Islamic rates. Addressing this gap is vital for future development.
The challenge of maintaining confidentiality while ensuring consistency in Sharia compliance is quite significant. The limited number of qualified Sharia advisors means that they often serve multiple rates, which could lead to potential conflict of interest and compromise the confidentiality of sensitive information. It's crucial to address these issues to maintain investor trust and foster the growth of Islamic rates in a competitive market.
To summarize, the independent, disclosure or transparency and confidentiality in Islamic rate governance are essential for maintaining ethical and effective management. These principles help ensure that investments are managed ethically, informed decisions are made, and investor trust is enhanced.
Before we end, I have one question. How can investors ensure that their chosen Islamic rates adhere to these principles?
Investors should look for Islamic rates that have a strong governance framework, appoint reputable Sharia advisor, and are transparent in their operation. For example, Exist Rate and Al-Aqar Healthcare rates are considered some of the best Islamic rates in Malaysia. Exist Rate is known for its diverse portfolio of high-quality properties and strong governance practice, while Al-Aqar Healthcare Rate focuses on healthcare-related properties, providing a stable and recurring income stream. Regularly viewing annual report and staying informed about the governance practice can also help investors make informed decisions.
Good afternoon, class. Today we will be discussing the governance and recent developments in Islamic derivative, particularly in Indonesia over-the-counter market. As we know, transactions in Islamic finance must be adhered to Sharia principle, which prohibit uncertainty, which is gharar, high speculation, and lack of underlying assets. Given the global economic expansion, derivative transactions have become essential. Let's delve into the current state and recent developments of Islamic derivative in Indonesia.
Sir, I understand that derivative transactions are crucial for risk management, but how do they align with the Islamic principle, especially given the controversy surrounding them? I have read that there are a lot of debate among scholars regarding their permissibility.
Excellent question, Sabrina. In Indonesia, Islamic financial transactions must comply with Sharia, which ban from riba and activities which related to gambling, like short selling and excessive speculation. The National Sharia Board of Indonesia Ulama Council has taken a cautious approach to derivative, but recent developments aim to make them more compliant. Let's focus on two key developments, which is wa'ad, which is promise, and forward contracts.
What exactly is wa'ad and how does it fit into the Islamic finance? I have come across the term before, but I'm not sure how it's practically applied in financial transactions.
Wa'ad is a unilateral promise issued by one party to another. It's not explicitly prescribed in the Quran and Sunnah, so its binding nature is subject to jurist interpretation. Some jurists see it as morally binding but not enforceable, while others consider it both morally and legally binding. In Islamic finance, wa'ad is used to mitigate risk. For instance, in a murabahah transaction, the borrower promised the bank to buy a specific property, ensuring the bank proceed with minimal risk of cancellation.
That makes sense. So, in essence, wa'ad acts as a security measure for financial institutions, ensuring that their agreements are honored. But how is wa'ad enforced in a practice, particularly in Indonesia? Are there any legal mechanisms in a place to support its implementation?
Nice question. According to the fatwa of the Islamic Fiqh Academy, A wa'ad is binding in the context of a cost-plus contract, which is murabaha, and is enforceable in a Sharia court. This mechanism helps manage risk and ensure ethical and responsible investment management. For example, without the promise, the bank would be at risk if the borrower decides not to purchase the property. The enforceability in a Sharia court provides an added layer of security for financial institutions.
I see. This enforceability must be a significant step forward for ensuring transparency and trust in Islamic financial transactions. But are there any specific examples in Indonesia where wa'ad has been effectively applied, or any case study we could look at?
Indeed, there are several case studies and examples where wa'ad has been effectively applied in murabaha transaction. The implementation of wa'ad has helped mitigate risk and increase investors' confidence. One notable example is in the housing sector, where banks use wa'ad to ensure that once they purchase a property, the borrower fulfills their promise to buy it back, thus reducing the risk of loss for the bank.
How do forward contract work within Islamic finance principle? I know they are common in conventional finance, but how they are adapted to meet Sharia requirements?
Forward contract involve an agreement to buy or sell an asset at a future date. In Islamic finance, most scholars agree a forward contract is valid if one part of the contract is settled immediately and the rest at a future date, based on the deferred sale, which is salam principle. However, traditional forward contract, where both money and delivery are settled at the end, are usually impermissible due to excessive gara.
That's interesting. So what is the recent development regarding a forward contract in Indonesia? Have there been any changes to make them more acceptable in Islamic finance?
Recent developments include the establishment of central counterparties (CCP) in Indonesia, making forward contract in the OTC market more transparent and regulated, thus reducing gara risk. The regulation of Bank Indonesia outlined guidelines for CCP, which is central counterparty, to prevent transaction failure and excessive speculation. This regulation, effective since June 2020, ensure forward contracts are clearer and more secure, aligning them with Islamic principles.
That is a significant development. With central counterparty in a place, it sounds like the market is better equipped to handle this contract responsibly. But are there still any challenges or areas for improvement in implementing forward contract within the Islamic finance framework?
Yes, while CCP have greatly improved the transparency and security of forward contract, there are still challenges. For instance, ensuring all market participants fully understand and comply with Sharia principles can be challenging. Ongoing education and training for financial professionals, as well as continuous monitoring and regulation, are essential to maintain the integrity of the transaction.
Absolutely. Continuous education and monitoring are crucial for the successful implementation of this instrument. This discussion has really clarified how wa'ad and forward contract can be adapted to fit within Islamic finance principle. Thank you, sir, for the further information about the Islamic derivative.
To summarize, recent developments involving wa'ad and forward contract signify progress in making Islamic derivative more compliant and acceptable in Indonesia. By responsibly using this instrument, Islamic financial institutions can effectively manage risk while adhering to a Sharia principle.
Thank you, sir. This discussion has been very insightful. Understanding this development gives me more confidence in exploring Islamic derivative. I will definitely look into this concept further.
You're welcome. It's crucial for students and future professionals to stay informed and make ethical decisions. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Your curiosity and engagement are vital for the growth of Islamic finance.